In the following set of tutorials, we're going to take a look at using After Effects and Encore to create animated menus. Now, the first place we want to start is After Effects, and we need to consider one thing, and that is, are we going to design our menus in Photoshop or design them in After Effects? Of course, the problem with Photoshop is when you create a new document, let's say that I make it using a film and video. This would be the DV widescreen. The problem with this is that it will actually be cutting the graphics to fit this size, and that can be really a problem because sometimes we want the ability to move things around with a little bit more freedom. So that is why I suggest using After Effects to create graphics, which I think is a really good idea. Now, we can create our graphics two different ways. For both of them, you'll create a comp, and the base comp here is only 30 seconds in duration, but we'll change that in a second. Anyway, we can go to the presets, and we can see that there are lots of different presets. You'll notice that we can, of course, use the widescreen preset here, DV widescreen, but we can also use the widescreen square, which is 872 by 486 pixels. And it's square pixels, and that's okay. And I'm going to actually change the rate of this so it's about 2 minutes long. It doesn't really matter exactly because we're going to be cutting it up as we need later on. Anyway, I'm going to create my composition at that size, and I can start to create maybe some different solids or something, just so I have something in here that I can use to kind of show some graphics real quick. And I could create a little title. Actually, I'll call this main menu. And I can scale that up a little bit, which is really nice with the tool here in After Effects, a little bit faster. And I'm going to duplicate that text item, scale it down, and this will be my titles. So this will be title number 1 or link number 1. And of course, I can duplicate that with Control D as many times as I need. That way I've got my little links here. And I've got my main title text. Now, if we're going to be using this in another comp, I do want to point out that all you have to do is drag it into a new comp. Actually, I really should make the other comp first. Why don't I make a new comp first, make it to the same length. It's 1 minute and 59 seconds, and I'm going to change this to widescreen, DV widescreen. There we go. And let's make sure that we do have the ability to see our pixel aspect ratio correction, so that should be on. And I'm going to click and drag comp 1 into comp 2. Now, comp 1, notice, is 872 by 486, and this is 720 by 480, but the large comp has correctly scaled inside the small comp, and that's a really good idea. Now, going back to comp 1, one of the things that we need to do is mark our structure for where things are going to be. So I'm going to go to 5 seconds in, just click on the time over here, type in 500, and I'm going to go over to the right hand side and choose the comp marker bin. Just click and drag that holding down the shift key, and the very first part is going to be the introduction or the build of that main menu. And at this point, at that particular 5 seconds, this is going to be where the main menu starts. So I'm going to double click and call it main loop. So that's where that main loop will start. Now I'm going to go to 30 seconds in. So type that in, and I'm going to drag out another, and this will be where the transition trans to sub 1 maybe. That'll be where that transition to sub 1 happens. Maybe I'll go to 35. And it could be that this is only a short one. Maybe it's only a 3-second sub-menu transition. So I can double-click on that, call it sub-loop, and then, of course, go forward from there to create where the loop will be. But nice thing about this is if I look in comp 2, I might go ahead and re-bring that in. You'll notice that when I bring it in, after those have been made, it actually remembers them. So go ahead and save your work and go on to the next tutorial.